Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Real Estate Jerky Daily. Usually have Mike Kelly here, but he's in DC. That's right, he's in Washington. So let's go get directly into the facts, shall we? All right. So I want to go over a couple things from yesterday again, and then some new stuff from today. We had ADP report yesterday that was disappointing. We had mortgage applications that were not through the roof; they were slowing down. And today we're going to talk about rental market softness. The housing market is turning cold in the Sun Belt, and there are still some places that are hidden bright spots. So shall we jump right into it? We shall. All right, so ADP employment, let's get to that from yesterday. It came in for May at 37,000 jobs created in the private sector yesterday. Those numbers came out. They were expecting 115,000. That's a huge difference. That's about a third. April figures were, slightly lowered from 62,000 to 60,000. They're saying the weakest job report, which is not really throwing me off. Weakest job growth since March of 2023. That really doesn't say anything because it's slow for a while, what I think. We looked at also mortgage applications yesterday. They came in, they were down 3.9% for the week. Purchase applications were down 4.4%, and refinance applications were down 3.6%. Well, we can see that because we've seen rates go up over the last month or so, and now they're starting, because of these changes in the actual job market, because this is jobs week, where is starting to go back the other way, which needs it to, because rates are pretty, I don't want to say super high. They're not as high as they have been, but they're higher than there was. But they will eventually work their way down. All right, so let's get into today's news. Jobless claims came in at 247,000, up from the expected 235,000. So 12,000 more people went out for unemployment last week than they thought was going to happen. And then the week prior, they added another 8,000 to that number to make it even worse. So what are we seeing? We're seeing more people get out on unemployment, and then we're also seeing that it's taking longer to find a job once you're on unemployment, to a point where now continuing claims, we saw it went up last week and the week before, but this week we're going down. And that's probably not because a ton of people went and found jobs. It's probably because people can no longer get unemployment. You can only get it for a period of time. So that's at 1.904 million. Nothing our unemployment rate's not through the roof yet. And I don't think it's going to get there, but there's just a lot of uncertainty out there at this point in time. And that's the best time to buy a house, is when there's uncertainty, because when other people are running from it, you want to be running towards it. Well, it sounds like a vet. All right. We also had, so that was what, jobless claims this morning. So right now the Dow's still down. The bond market's 10 years sitting at 4.35, and the bonds are up about 3 basis points. Now that's going to, in 2 seconds, if we get 20 basis points, you never know. Redfin, one of the things I want to talk about today is Redfin and apartment list data came out, and they saw that there's rental softness in 64% of the tracked metro areas. That's 28 out of the 44 markets are soft. Again, it's going to be wherever it's located. You're going to be soft in Florida, Texas, certain places where what people understand is when you have mass migrations to different states and different places from one place, eventually that place that they all went to has an issue a few years later. And that's what's going on right now with Florida and Texas. I do have a couple of charts on that I want to show you. So let me get over that and present those to you. So let's start with new home sales. So this is a resale market conditions agent survey. If you look at that, you can see that the yellow is normal, and then you have the, I guess, like orangey, that's a slow, and then you have very slow. So if you look in Texas, you have slow and very slow, and then in Florida, you have the same thing. Across other areas, you can see that they're very normal. California has a lot of normal markets. There is some slower markets in certain places, but San Diego and Orange County is doing very well at this point. Let me make sure. And this is resale. It's different for new homes. Let's see here. So right now it's this San Diego and Orange County are doing relatively well. Chicago and Indianapolis is graded as strong in the new home market, which I'll get into in a second. but the Midwest overall is doing really well. So if you want to move into the Midwest, that's a good place to go. Resale market sluggish in Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota, Tampa, and Austin. Texas and Florida overall weak, as I showed you. And one of the reasons is rising property taxes and homeowners insurance costs. That is what happens. That's what's happening in Florida right now is you're looking at increases in insurance and increases of taxes. You're looking at increase, in Texas, the property tax thing is such a big thing that they're trying to make some changes to that. Let's add in, that was the resale market. Let's remove that and go to new home. There's a new home. So you can see that in California, new homes, you got normal and really strong in Southern California. That's Orange County and San Diego that we were talking about. Normal in Oregon. So if you can look at that, you can see what I'm talking. And now let's go to look at Texas. It's all slow. Florida slow on all new markets. You got North Carolina, South Carolina. You can see that new home sales is not doing as well as what they want it to do. And that's just what happens when you are in this type of a market that we're in right now. You have stuff going on with the tariffs, the stuff in Congress not passing the bill, all this stuff that's going on, and the uncertainty out there. A lot of business owners don't know what to do, and then we're going to run into this. I think we're going to be get most of this resolved by after the 4th of July weekend. We're going to see stuff in the next couple of weeks. Don't mark my words. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's just how I feel about this. I've recently myself have seen more people buying and looking at stuff, and because they're coming across some deals and they're trying to pick them up as their house. And so if that's the case, you should be out there looking and writing offers if that's where you're at, and stop worrying about what's going to happen, because you can't focus on the market. You can't, meaning that what's going on and everything, even though we threw all this stuff out there, we're just trying to make you educated. But you need to make the decision. If you have to move, if you have an extra baby and you need more room, you got to do that. You can't stay in that low interest rate, or if you're renting, just because you think the housing market's going to crash. It's not going to crash in our area. It might in Florida and Texas might have a pullback, but that's just because of unique situations. It's not like 2008 where the whole mortgage market crashed and everything went down. That's not going to happen. Foreclosures are still at an all-time low, and they're going to stay there. All right, that's all I have for today. I'm going to keep rambling. Mike will be back next week. Again, make it a great day. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you all for listening, and I hope we give you some nuggets of information while we're talking to you. Have a great day.